We are finally at the last lesson of Unit 1, Algebraic Puzzles, and I really like this one. Now, our classwork tomorrow is going to be really fun. We're going to look at some games on the internet that are meant to impress people, but are actually only done with simple mathematics. So this is what we're going to work on tomorrow. But to give you an idea of what algebraic puzzles are all about, it's just simply somebody does something like this to you, like, oh, think of a number, now add 7 to it, now divide by 2, now multiply by 7, now multiply by 8, divide by 5, add this, and all of a sudden in the end it comes out to be your birthday. And you're like, wow, how did they do that? Well, we're going to show you how. But before we can tackle those complex problems on the internet, that really aren't that complex, let's take a look at what I'm really talking about. Okay, so for example, here's a word problem. It's about choosing a number, and we're going to try and see the pattern. But I'm going to, this is what I'm going to do first. I'm going to move down here, give us some room, erase that little stray mark I just made. All right, and now, this is what we're going to do. We're going to practice reading this to see if we can get some math out of it. So, as we start reading, it says, choose any number. Create the sum of 2 more than 3 times the number with 2 less than 2 times the number. Whoa, wait a second. That's a lot, so let's break it down. First of all, it said create the sum of. So we have to understand that there are 2 numbers being added. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little box, and that's going to represent where I'm going to put the first number. And this is going to represent where I'm going to put the second number. Now it said sum, so I'm adding these 2 things together. So what are we adding together? 2 more than 3 times the number. Okay, 2 more than means to add 3 times, and we don't know what the number is, so we're going to make it x. With, so that's the second number, create the sum with 2 less than 2 times the number. So 2 less than, remember that word than? Can flip it around. So 2 less than means I'm taking away 2 from 2 times the number. So let's see if there's a pattern here. Let's start with a number. Let's start with the number 5. And now let's do what they told us to do. Create the sum of 2 more than 3 times the number and 2 times the number, and then take away 2. So if we do our math, let's see, this is 15, 17, and that's 17 plus, all right, 10 minus 2 is 8. So my result is 25. All right, so my next number I'm going to pick is 6, because I'm just going to go in order here so I can see if there's a pattern. So 2 plus 3 times 6 plus 2 times 6 minus 2. Right? I was just putting my numbers in for x. So 18 plus 2 is 20. 12 minus 2 is 10, and I'm adding together to get 30. See a pattern? Let's put a 7 in. Bet you all know what 7's going to be. So 2 plus 3 times 7 plus 2 times 7 minus 2 equals, let's do the math, that's 21 plus 2 is 23 plus 14 minus 2 is 12. And 23 plus 12 is 35. Hey, I bet you the next number will be 40 if I put an 8 in. Well, the point of the matter is, I could have cleaned up this up here, and look what happens. If I combine like terms, 3x plus 2x is 5x, and 2 plus a negative 2 cancels out. So you see what the shortcut was? The shortcut is to just take whatever a number I put in and multiply it by 5. See, 5 times 5 is 25, 5 times 6 is 30, 5 times 7 is 35, and then 5 times 8 is going to be 40. So this sounded really complicated, but when we cleaned it up, it was a nice, easy thing. And that's the trick with all those math games that we're going to play on the internet. All right, we're going to try one more. All right, we're going to try one more. I know it says exercise 3, but it's really 2, according to you guys. So we are going to do another one of those calculations. I'm going to move this down here so we have some more room. And let's see what they want us to do here. In this problem, we explore calculation of the difference between. Okay, difference between. So that means I'm going to have one number here. It's a little big. My computer's running a little slow. And here's the other number. Wow. It's not playing nice right now, this computer. Perfect. And we're going to put a little subtraction sign in between because they want me to subtract. What do they want me to subtract? Between the product of a number. Oh, product means I'm going to be multiplying. So within here, I'm doing even more. I'm doing multiplication. So I'm going to have something here. And I'm going to have something here. And then in the next one, it also says I'm going to have the product of a number. So I need 2 more in there. So basically what I'm doing is I'm multiplying 2 numbers together, and then I'm subtracting what I get when I multiply those 2 numbers together. So the product of a number, we don't know what the number is, so we're going to put x there, and a number 5 larger than it, so this is x plus 5. And in this other one, the product of the number and a number 5 less than it. So that's going to be x minus 5. Okay, so let's start this once again. I'm going to go with the numbers 5, 6, 7, and 8 again. All right, so the difference between the product of the number, which is 5 times 5 plus 5, which is 10, and now I want to subtract from that the product of the number, 5, and 5 minus 5 is 0. Okay, so that turns out to be 50. Right, next number is 60. The difference between the product of a number, 6, and a number 5 larger than 6, which is 11. Now I subtract from that the number and a number 5 less than 6, which is 1. So 66 minus 6. Hey, we're kind of starting to get the same thing. Is this answer 70? Let's see. 7, the number. 5 more than 7 is 12. Now I want to subtract from that the number. And 2 less than that number, which is 2. So 7 times 12 is 84 minus 14. That's indeed 70. So I guess this answer, if we kept our pattern going, is 80. So let's clean this up and see what happens. Let's find the shortcut, that algebraic puzzle that's in there. Well, I'm going to go back to our friend distribution. You see how we have an x here and an x here? Well, I'm going to undistribute those x's. So I'm going to pull out an x. And what do I have left when I pull out that x? Well, I had this x plus 5, and then I had a minus. So remember, when I have a minus, I got to change everybody who comes after. So I have to change x to negative x, and negative 5 to positive 5. And if I clean this up, it turns out to be x times, well, guess what? X minus x cancel out, and 5 plus 5 is 10. It turned out to be a shortcut of all I had to do was take my number and multiply it by 10. So these are the types of little things we're going to look for when we look at those problems on the internet. We're going to take the big words and boil them down into a simple little math problem. It's going to be fun tomorrow. All right, see you then.